I was like, that was home. Gosh, I remember thinking to myself, I am leaving the place that I love the most. And my cousins, I was just like, going to the unknown. I was not feeling it. Going to the Then unknown. I quickly, you guys, I ate my little snacks, cried a little bit, eat my now and laters, woke up, new place. New place. I remember, because now y'all have to realize this is Detroit City, Detroit, Michigan. City. Big city lights, all, huge downtown, all of these things. Happen Belle Isle, didn't you remember what building is that? The Circle Building? Is that the Chrysler Building? No, I don't remember. Whatever was the Renaissance Building? Renaissance Building. That real just building. Just beautiful, like these landmarks that that are in Detroit. The barbecue, the black eyed peas, the greens. You could go get soul food. You could go get soul food any day, all day. Gosh, all of that stuff. Ooh. It was just. You could smell barbecue every single day. Every single day. Somebody was always barbecuing every day. Some music, something going on, party. Something going on. Something. It was a lot of life in that city. So you got to understand. We left there, and I remember we did go to sleep. It's about 3 or 4 hour drive, and I remember waking up, and it was like. My dad was pulling up to this house, and it was across the street from this farm. I mean, it was like farmland as far as the eye could see. Yes. Y'all, we had never even been to a farm. Had never even. We got the kernels out of the can. We never saw corn on the stalk. Never, like right. I never saw. You're right, Jill. We never picked that corn right there from that. It was farmland. It was. There were the horses. Horses across the street from our house, and we were like, "Wow, like, where are we at?" Nobody did. Because my mom had let my dad had gone up a couple months or something before we moved, and he picked out the house. He bought the house, and he was from Mississippi. He was a farm boy. He was happy, so he went on the outskirts of the city. Yeah, he did. Outskirts of the city. It was a country town anyway. Night and day. When he went to the country completely night and day. Ooh. And then on top of that, I remember. First time we went to the store. Now, guys, y'all got to realize we were coming from Detroit. We had never. I saw maybe 2, 3 white people my entire life. Facts. I had one girl in my class, Melanie. She was the only white in the entire school. I remember that. Yeah. And then we had some neighbors, right? Yeah, but they were sold to themselves. They didn't bother anybody. We didn't bother them. We would say hi, but they just were very quiet people. Very quiet. So imagine how it felt living in a black neighborhood. Yeah, that was challenging for them. It probably was. So going to this little town in Ohio, we went to the store. There were no blacks. And people were looking at us. It was like a fish out of water. It was, and we were shocked. You got to think about it. We had little attitudes. We were ghetto and didn't know it. Yeah, we were ghetto and didn't know it. But let's quantify that, Juliet. Okay. Ghetto is not a color. Right. Ghetto is a state of mind in your actions and your behavior. Absolutely. Our behaviors were ghetto. We talk slang. We were ghetto. Yeah. But we were in this. And I told my dad, they ain't got no corner stores. It's like, they don't have us. They ain't got no. We didn't think we were be able to live without the corner store. Yeah. So we went from all of that to no corner stores. Guys, there was no downtown. Like when we say go downtown, that's a big deal. There was a light going through the middle of town. Yeah. There was no downtown. And you blinked, the downtown was over. No downtown. So here we are, no corner stores, which was devastating. It was. To us 8, 9, 10-year-olds. No, farm animals, no cubs. You can smell like that manure. Remember that? We didn't smell. We were city mice. Definitely not no manure. It was night and day difference. So here we are. I remember that. Our life got flipped upside down. It did. It got flipped upside down. And so quick. It did. And I remember, when we got there, of course, my dad had the job because he transferred. But my mom was a teacher. Yeah. In Detroit. It was rough. And she wanted to go, she wanted to get into the school district and become a teacher. She just loved it. Like I said, she's a social butterfly. So she liked to interact with people. Yeah. So I remember going to the unemployment office with her. Oh, yeah. Yeah, remember the unemployment office? Mm-hmm. Went to the unemployment office and she's filling out paperwork. She's doing whatever. And I remember this little girl. Her father was holding her. Little girl was probably 2 or 3. She was very young. She didn't know any better. But she looked at me and she looked at me up close and she was looking at me and she said, "You have something on your face." And I said, "I do." And she said, "Yeah, you have to wipe your face." So I started wiping my face and her father, he was putting 2 and 2 together. Oh, and he realized what she was saying. Oh. And I looked at my mom and my mom realized too what was going on. The little girl had never seen a black person before. The skin. So she was thinking that I needed to wipe off this dark complexion from my face. And I remember the father just kind of what you are. You weren't there. You didn't go to the unemployment office that day.
But I was with mine. I'll never forget it.
I remember you told me about.
I'll never forget it. And the man kind of looked and he walked
cringed,
away.
huh?
He cringed to it.
Oh.
He didn't say anything to Mom.
Oh.
He didn't say anything to me. He just walked away.
Oh,
but that told me that, you know, and we were in a car. I was talking to Mom about it. And I'm assuming a little girl had never seen a black person. She was 3 or 4. And I'm telling y'all, there were 20 people in this town. 20 black people, we found out later.
And 6 of them lived in our house.
So it was culture shock for her too.
It was.
But I remember thinking, wow, that is weird.
And did they have about what, 20 or 10,000 people lived in that?
It was when we moved there was 14,000 people.
That's right, 14,000.
When you pull into the town, guys, it had the population. It was like something off a Little House on the Prairie.
It was like, don't forget, Juliet, those people, you guys, they left their keys in the ignition, parked overnight, front door unlocked.
I never forget.
I have never been around nothing like.
I never forget going past.
People live like this.
I'll never forget going to the driving past the Ace Hardware store. And there were bikes, and the bikes were not on chains.
Like, oh yeah.
And I was like, these bikes aren't on chains.
Someone's gonna steal them.
Someone's gonna steal this
and
stuff.
The watermelons was outside the grocery store.
I never forget it.
Wow.
Because you did not do that. Like you said,
it was all behind.
And it was like, we can go to sleep with the front door open.
Remember, our dad even started leaving his key in the ignition like.
He adapted quick.
He did.
It was night.
Now that was weird to me.
That was weird.
I was thinking, boy, cousins from Detroit, y'all can get loaded up here.
They would rob y'all.
It was so easy to do.
They would rob them blind.
You could easily do.
They would rob them blind. So it was just so different. And then I remember kind of as we had just moved there. I remember Mom struggling because she didn't get the job. Later on, we found out
they kept saying she was overqualified. I never heard of such a thing. I said overqualified. Isn't it good to have all those? No, that was the excuse. They have to hire her.
That was it. They had no. It was 6 elementary schools there.
Yep.
They had no black teachers, no black administrators.
They didn't.
Nothing. So my mom didn't get the job. She was missing her family.
Yeah, that was hard on her.
You know, it was really hard on her. I remember watching her kind of struggle. And then things were turning around for us.
Yeah.
Because we were little explorers. We were adventurous.
We were looking for that corner store.
Tell me about that, Jill. Tell me that story.
You guys get this. I know my dad was saying, I said, we need to get to a corner store. He says, you're going to have to go and find one. It was about a 5-mile hike to get to that corner store.
It was a gas station.
It was a gas station.
It wasn't a corner store.
We didn't got candy store here, you know. My dad said, well, go and find it. So we get to trekking up and down. We got us some little snacks and stuff. Nothing like Detroit. Those like those little charm suckers. I was like,
yeah,
we were happy to go and get it. Yep. And they were better made potato chips. Oh, if you from Detroit, if you know, you know. Detroit. Yeah. Detroit better made. They love
better
chips.
Made and Faygo Pop.
And Faygo Pop. Yeah.
And that's what we grew up on.
Cream soda.
Yes,
and
root beer. And I like root beer too. But they didn't have any of that. So now we didn't have a corner store. We didn't have any of the little things, the comforts of home that we grew up in. We went to the corner store, you guys, several times a day. So once we found this little store, it was like, we'll go up there. I said, oh, I'm not walking that far every day to go to the corner store. That's a 5-mile walk. I want to do it. So we were just exploring the neighborhood. Adventured around the neighborhood. Y'all will not believe it. Go ahead and tell it. When about 7 or 8 minutes from the house, we were just walking around, just exploring the city. Around. And we came upon this house. It was a regular neighborhood. It was. Remember how it was landscaped so beautifully. It was beautiful. Not even one blade of grass was out of place. It was a beautiful house. House was just so mommy make butter. It was, and there was a sign in the yard, and it was like, I don't remember what the sign said, but it said something about store, come inside. Yeah, come. So we do. We're little kids. We're exploring on the inside. We walked in, and that lady had candy. She had penny candy. 5-cent candy. It was like so happy. It was like a kiss from heaven. Yeah, it was like God was saying, "You're gonna be okay." Yeah, we needed that, and it was like, and she was so sweet to us. She was very welcoming. Yeah. She's a little entrepreneur. She was a little entrepreneur. Yeah, she was, and we take our little pennies, take our quarters, and we kept her in business. Okay? Yeah, we did. We did. I don't know if anybody else knew about that lady. I know, but we became her. Aaron, we know Aaron knew about. Oh, Aaron did know about. That was a friend of ours. Yeah, but that's true. But that was like it felt really special. It felt like that was done just for us. And you guys, honestly, I started thinking, this little town's gonna be all right. Yeah. Kids don't take much for kids. Kids are resilient. And they can adapt to anything. Kids are resilient. And then I think you remember the first little girl. It was like, because you didn't talk to people in Detroit. You You weren't very friendly.
You just weren't.
You had to, yeah.
And you weren't trying to be. You just weren't. It's just I don't know if it was it wasn't something like this, but you just knew that you really.
It was a safety mechanism that's just built in.
That's right.
Just built in.
Yeah.
You have to be guarded.
Adapt to your environment.
You had to be guarded.
Yeah, yeah.
So remember when we have two siblings. We have a younger sister and an older brother, and we were just like I said, we were out exploring the city, and
oh my gosh, that was you guys. I'll tell you what. We were walking about once again. We were on another adventure. My dad said, "Just go out there and find something to do." We were in a little adventure. And I remember walking down the street, and there was this white girl. I could see this white girl in the distance, and she had these. Her hair was parted down the middle. And she had two pigtails, typical Little House on the Prairie stuff.
Yeah.
And so I remember.
Janet Marshall.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. My first thought was, I said, she's probably gonna walk across the street away from us. I thought that.
That's what you were
thinking. As
thinking.
a kid, I thought she's gonna be afraid of us.
That makes sense.
So we're walking, and we're getting closer and closer and closer. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, okay, what's gonna happen here? And she looks at us, and she got close to us. Hi. I was like, hi.
Wow.
That did something to me. I mean, I was like,
the fact
I
that
felt
you remember
accepted.
so clearly.
And I was like, these people actually say hi around here. They talk.
And because she didn't cross that street.
And I remember she didn't cross that street. And I remember looking back at her, just watching her like, oh, look at her. This little white girl. I looked at her. I was like, she's nice. But
you were excited. I remember you ran home and
I said, Mom, this little girl walking down the street, and she said hi to us. And my mom was basically like, did you say hi back? Yes. And it was like, I think I just sealed the deal. Yeah. It just sealed the deal.
And then
that was
the school. That was the summer. And we started school.
Yeah.
And y'all, we were like the shiny new toy at this school.
If you've ever seen that movie, it's by Richard Pryor. It's called The Toy.
Oh,
they have perfect toys than us.
That is perfect.
We were the toy for each one of our little.
We were, because y'all have to understand, we talked slang.
We did.
We were different.
And we just talked. We said it came up. Came out.
The cultures were very different.
Very.
I remember, like in Detroit, if somebody got in trouble, everybody laughed.
We just
jump up, we running, everybody laughing at the person,
making fun of them.
And I remember being in school one day, and this is in Van Wert,
total white.
I remember somebody got in trouble, and we started laughing.
Who got in trouble?
And everybody in the classroom looked at us.
Yeah,
and they said, "We don't laugh at that."
They did. They did.
And we said, "Well, we do," and we just it was just very
it was down upon.
It was very, very. It just culturally was very different.
Yeah,
and we were very different from them.
Yeah.
And we talked fast, especially Jewel.
Dang.
Jewel always got told, "You talk so fast, can you slow down?" But they loved to hear us talk. We had all the slang. We said
they laughed at everything.
They laughed at everything.
If I do a joke, I said, "Okay, here's another one for you." They laughing at it. I was like, "Oh, we'll pop these jokes out,"
because they just loved us. My brother, he was athletic, so
yeah,
he did these flips. So on the playground, everybody surrounded us. Emmett, that was my brother. People could line up with get on their knees and on their back. And he was able to flip over like 21 people.
Yeah, he was very athletic.
We became the playground king and queen. They wanted was Jewel and Juliet.
They want to play with us. They want to be our friend. I mean,
they thought we were so funny.
I mean, they would give us candy. I'm like, oh yeah, they would give us candy.
They would fight to sit next to us in the lunchroom.
It was just accepted.
It's
no prejudice at all.
No prejudice at all.
It was so kids are taught that stuff.
Yeah.
That's not a kid's nature. Kids, they just want to be friends.
That's so true.
And they used to fight to sit by us.
They used to sit by us. And it was just like, so then it became, I remember, like I was saying in the neighborhood, my parents, it's just who they are. That's who they were. Like we began to know the little people around in the neighborhood. My parents were we had a pool, and my mom wanted to do Bible lessons.
Yeah,
so she would have the kids over on Saturdays, and she would feed them. And then she would do a Bible lesson before they could get in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
So we became like very welcomed and very well known in the neighborhood. It became home.
Little Detroit.
It became home.
Detroit,
so we began to adjust really well to it, just because we were so accepted. And then it was interesting, even though these little kids look different than us. And there were some cultural differences. We just became family.
It was a family. That was a cool part about it. And I think when you think about things like going from a large city to a small city, you need that slowdown. We needed that slowdown.
Man, we needed the safety.
I don't know that we
needed the safety of Van Wert. Joe, I think
as you get older, things happen to you.
And talking to our brother and finding out some of the things that he was into. When we were in Detroit, I don't know that he would be living had we stayed in Detroit. So what we thought was, initially you didn't want to do it.
I
You
didn't
thought
want
it
to.
was,
I was like,
you know,
draining.
a bad thing. It ended up being a real big blessing in our life.
It did. It was.
So, you know, as we wrap up and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we talk about a life lesson.
What can I say this one thing on the
Sure,
but
go ahead.
I think this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
We're talking about the differences and things like that, and things you think about the person or about a culture, and it's just not true. It's stereotypes. There was this lady. My mom finally got her little job in this little factory, and this lady kept looking behind my mom. They became friends, right? And she says, "Where's your tail?" My mom said, "What?" He said, "Where's your tail?"
Wow.
My mom said, "What tail?"
Wow.
He said, "My dad told us that all blacks have a tail. I just wonder if you can show it to me." My mom was like,
that story.
"Blacks don't have a tail." My mom said she actually believed it. She was in her 30s, you guys. But see, when you're taught that stuff, you don't know. And she says,
true.
"Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I thought you really all had a tail."
She meant no harm by it.
I thought it was so funny.
No,
but I'm like, oh my God, a tail for blacks?
A 30-year-old woman.
And she believed it. She said, "I'm just trying to find out where's your tail."
Wow.
And then one thing about it was that, you know, like Julie talked about our slang. I just got to talk about
this. It was funny.
You guys, I would always say, we finna do this.
We finna go do something.
We finna go do something. There was one girl, she said, "Jewel and Juliet." We're like, "Yeah, what's up?" She was as serious as anything. What does finna mean? Finne. I said, "You talking about finna? I'm finna go." I realized she didn't know. I said, "It means I'm getting ready to go. I'm getting ready to do something."
That was part of our slang.
That was our slang. I'm finna. And the other word we said was sight. Detroit was sight. Everything was sight. What up, though? That's just a part of Detroit.
I remember you said, they asked me what finna mean.
I said, they asked me what finna mean. I'm like, they didn't know what finna mean.
Wow.
But sight, it's just those things.
It was the cultural things, just the way we taught, the slang.
All so we taught them, they taught us. But anyway, in closing.
And it was good for us.
It was
really good for us.
Yeah.
So in closing, when you think about the life lesson that you took from moving our Green Acre story, what is it you gathered?
Julie, I think I gathered was sometimes the things you resist the most, you need the most. Mm-hmm. We needed to move from Detroit to Van Wert,
more than
because it saved our life. And I realized that the change that you're resisting is the change that you need.
So true.
And I think oftentimes we resist the things that we need the most. That taught me about how we're resilient.
Yeah.
We met new people. It expanded our vocabulary.
Yeah.
It expanded our understanding of people. Sure. So I would say the thing you're probably fighting the most, you probably need the most. And change is always hard, but it is totally necessary.
It is. Yes.
So what did you take away? What was your life lesson?
I think we were so small-minded when we left Detroit. We had all these stereotypes of what white people were like.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think moving to Van Wert and meeting these people. You know, our best friend, we shared a best friend. Her grandparents became our grandparents.
Still friends.
You know, I became more open-minded and then learning diversity. You know, diversity is a good thing.
It is.
Everybody is so beautiful in their own.
Yeah, and their cultures are so neat. We had Oriental friends.
Absolutely, every the rainbow.
Yeah, we did.
We had every color.
And our best friend from high school, get this, you guys, she married a black man.
Yeah, she did.
And I'm convinced
that it had to do with her.
It was because of us. And I dated white guys too, because you don't see color anymore.
You don't.
You just see people.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest, like, you see people.
Absolutely.
People.
So I think we learned diversity is good, and don't judge a book by its cover.
That's right.
Open it up and read it.
Yeah.
So I think that was my that was my life lesson. So you know, I think that, you know, we were able to even maintain and hold on to who we were. Now we were different, but we were able to maintain
authentically us.
Yeah, we were unapologetic.
We have to change everything.
No, we didn't. So but
it was some hard times. We'll talk about that in another episode.
I'm
talking about, because I'm telling you, it wasn't all
peaches and rainbows.
It was not.
It was not.
It was
cherries and rainbows.
But we're looking at it, we're seeing the good that came out of that. We're seeing all the been able to finagle with different people, different cultures,
different situations.
Yeah. So we not like everybody was against us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, we didn't. That wasn't the answer.
Create your opportunities. God opens doors. Not man. We learned that
for sure.
Yeah.
So with that being said,
let's encourage them, tell them that if you're struggling with something, leave us a comment. Let us know. We want to know. Or what was the biggest life-altering change that took place in your life that it totally changed the course of your life? Leave us a comment. We read all of them. We want to know.
We want to know. We would challenge you too to embrace change. Change as it's growth, guys. It's
going to happen.
So embrace this change, and we want to encourage you. And this is something we're going to close our episodes.
Every episode.
Every episode.
Tell them where we got it from.
Tell them where we got it from. You know, we're church babies.
We had to go to church. Yeah, we had to go to church.
We went to church. So there was this,
old mothers in the church.
Old mothers in the church. There was this saying, y'all, yet holding on, keep on keeping on.
Don't forget it.
And that's what we want to encourage y'all to do.
Yeah. So see you next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.